play, and he certainly has the personnel to do that.
Mark said just a question of fitness early on this season, as the Hounds haven't played a lot outside, so they're trying to get their legs under them and hopefully keep up an aggressive approach for longer and longer in these games as the season progresses. We are underway. The Riverhounds in their black uniforms with the white trim. The Hounds were in gold last weekend, switching it up on this Saturday night as the ball bounds into the Rochester box, and that's where we meet the starting keeper for tonight's game, Brandon Miller, who played last weekend. The Rhinos in town were in Harrison, New Jersey last week to play the New York Red Bulls 2. It was a 0-0 draw, but plenty of chances for the Rhinos, including a couple of corner kick opportunities that were cleared off the line miraculously by the Red Bulls. So the Hounds have to be wary of a quick strike here by Rochester and hopefully trying to recreate that start last weekend. As here's Sterling Flunder turning and trying to clear one. Does not get it out. The Rhinos in the green and yellow uniforms you see there with the stripes. And now it is Anthony Arena controlling and belting one all the way down through the midfield area.
It looked like right away the Rhinos are coming off a little bit of energy. I think Bob Lilly wants them to start the game with some energy right away and kind of set the tone for it. And so it doesn't appear that he wants to set back and try to counter. He wants to try to force the issue a little bit.
One of the Hounds down and hurt, as you see here right on the midfield stripe. And that appears to be Rob Vincent. He of the 2-goal, 2-assist night last Saturday. Kevin Kerr had 3 goals, and Rob Vincent assisted on 2 of them. And the referee, Vito Testa Jr., is calling over the Riverhounds training staff to take a look at it.
Yeah, we missed that. I didn't see what happened there, but
Robbie is hurting, though.
Yeah, this is a little bit different too, Gino. The way Rochester really have gone right at the Hounds, that we expect them to be more
Here's
defensive.
a replay here, Paul.
The ball hit him. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he just got hit in the wrong place there.
Sensitive area, yes.
Very sensitive area.
We'll call it that. But, yes, Paul, the Rhinos have a tradition, especially under their coach Bob Lilly, whom you coached in indoor soccer here in Pittsburgh a couple of decades ago.
Yep.
He was a defender. He likes to play defensively. This team allowed just 27 goals all of last season. That was the second fewest in what was then a 14-team league last year. They didn't score a whole bunch. They scored the second fewest, just 30 last season, but they were able to get into the playoffs on the strength of that defensive backbone. What can we expect from a Bob Lilly team tonight?
I think the same kind of thing. I was thinking that he's playing 4-4-2 as usual, kind of like what the Riverhounds are playing, and you'll see. I think they're just trying to get the feeling for the game right now. Obviously, they're getting used to the wind and the weather at the moment. The sun's gone down, got a little bit colder. They're just trying to get a feel for the ball right now.
The starters for the Riverhounds, the same as last weekend, including Ryan Thompson between the sticks. He's coming off a shutout, his first international shutout in his third game for the Jamaican national team as they defeated rival Cuba 3-0. That was earlier this week. Flew back in, so he got his first USL Pro victory last Saturday and his first international clean sheet for the Reggae Boys, and congratulations to him. As here's a play down the wing, and Hugh Dixon is onside. Dixon to the middle, and it's cleared by Okioma, and then drilled out of danger by Anthony Arena. So that Riverhounds back line tested very early on in this 4th minute.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. That fullback kind of disappeared.
They played it behind Sterling Flunder and then got in, and Okioma was very, very alert to track. I think it was Valesky there that he was looking for. So, promising start for Rochester.
Yeah,
the
guy was 10 yards wide open too, Gino. Nobody around him, and Anthony got out there and made it a little bit more difficult for him. But, yeah, you can't do too many things like that, silly mistakes and letting them in behind you that way.
Okioma with the pass break up there on that dangerous chance for Rochester. His fellow center back, Anthony Arena, called him a monster athlete this week. After Thursday's training session when I spoke with him, so he's loving playing back there with Okioma, who has had experience playing under Mark Steffens down in Charlotte. Here is Okioma with the ball, and he drives a diagonal feed up the left wing. That's where Rob Vincent is there, so Rob appears to be okay after a tough situation for him physically, getting drilled with the ball in the midsection right at the midfield line. But now we are seeing the ball played onto the foot of Kevin Kerr, he of the hat trick on opening night. His first professional 3-goal game, believe it or not.
Yeah, hopefully that's not weighing on his mind. That's got to be history right now, hasn't it, Gino? And you just go back out there and start working.
No, it's interesting, though, Paul. I mean, although we see Kerr and Robbie Vincent dropping now, staying connected with our backs, I mean, as soon as we get the ball, they're really pushing forward up as wingers and trying to support Chibrillo up front. Yeah. So I think we're going to see them immediately as you see Kerr getting wide and trying to stay up even with the Rochester line.
You see the Hounds back line with the ball. That's Anthony Arena. Arena and Okioma in the center. On the wings back there will be Mike Green on the right, Sterling Flunder on the left. In the midfield for Pittsburgh this evening, Danny Earls, Stephen Okai. As you see, this long ball handled quite easily by Brandon Miller. Lebo Maloto, the South African, will be on the attacking side of midfield, and then, as Gene just told you, Rob Vincent and Kevin Kerr, the wings up front, with Miro Chibrillo, the center forward. So that's the formation for Pittsburgh. And for Rochester, on the back line, it will be Onua Obasi, Patrick McMahon, a veteran of this league, Grant Van de Castile, who played a game for the Colorado Rapids of the MLS, as you watch Flunder break up an attempted through ball. Vasilis Apostolopoulos also back there. Say that 3 times fast. I'll try not to tonight. In the midfield, Johnny Mendoza.
We'll leave that one to you, Matt.
Yes, I will. I'll try to tackle that whenever it comes up. Mike Garzi, Tony Walls, and Jamaican indoor player Canardo Forbes in the midfield area for Rochester. And up front, Hugh Dixon. He had 3 goals last season, and Christian Voleski. So those are your cast of characters, at least for now.
Yeah, and Rochester has, according to my count anyway, could be off at like 7 starters that were mix a pretty solid nucleus with a few newcomers. There's a bad giveaway by Rochester.
Turnover, and it's Kevin Kerr with the ball at his foot. Tries a long one, feeling confident after last week, clearly, and pushes it just a bit too high over the crossbar.
I think he was dreaming a little bit, that one, but he was way out, at least 40-some yards. But, yeah, he's going to take shots, and I'm sure Vincent will once they get the opportunity. They really haven't created any opportunities yet. Rochester doing a real good job of getting most of the possession, actually, at the moment. Keep winning these balls that get knocked down and laid off, and making it difficult for the Hounds to get out of there.
Well, I really think it's going to be interesting with Okai and Danny Earls matched up with their 2 central midfielders, Garza and Walls. How are they going to deal with their outside midfielders for Rochester? Because we've already seen them pushing up very high, and Rochester trying to find them behind us and turning us on the ball, which is, very typical, what we've seen with Rochester and certainly Bob Lilly playing in the past. They'll try to pen you in and then press you.
Aerial ball for Kevin Kerr near the sideline, and the possession is awarded to Rochester. This is Bob Lilly's 2nd stint as coach of the Rhinos. The Rhinos came into existence in 1996. They've played in various leagues since then, including the A-League early on, and they have 3 A-League championships hanging or league titles, and they have only missed the playoffs once in their 18 seasons of action, and that was 2013 when Lilly was not coaching this team. So he's back. They made the playoffs last year, 6th place finish, as I mentioned, losing in the quarterfinals to LA Galaxy 2. Here comes Thompson out to play the ball away. Ryan Thompson, always very aggressive, and he gets the job done there to avoid some trouble for Pittsburgh as Mike Green lays the ball right back to him.
That's not the kind of ball Thompson wants, I don't think. But,
no, not at all. And Rochester forcing us to make these passes back and creating some. These long balls in, we're not going to win maybe 1 or 2 of those, Matt. They've got some strong and big lads at the back that can get all these high balls. And at the moment, we seem to be going long with everything. And I think that's going to have to change and bring the midfielders back into it, Gino, as well. And,
as you see Abassi going forward, remember him from last year, Paul. He really likes to go forward and really will attack from that left back spot. And with he and Johnny Mendoza, I think probably their most creative player on this left side. Mike Green and Kevin Kerr here is going to have to do a lot of tracking, and they're going to have to be very, very alert with those two because they will go forward.
18 starts last season. He tried to hook up with Christian Voleski. Last year played for FC Tucson, but he lost control into touch right in front of the Riverhounds bench. Matt Geico with Paul Child and Gene Klein. Much more pleasant evening compared to last week, but the Hounds, of course, did not mind the result as we have a handled ball by Rochester. Quick restart. Danny Earls looking deep down the near sideline for Kevin Kerr, but a bit too far.
The ball's got to be taken again, Matt, because the ball was rolling when he kicked it. The ball's got to be stationary. Danny should have just stopped the ball if he was going to try and do something like that and make sure it was still.
Actually, that's an advantage for us because I think we're better just trying to build it out of here. And,
exactly.
And rather than trying to play some hopeful ball into the corner.
So here looking for Chabrillo just at the edge of the penalty area, too far for him. So a disjointed start, definitely. By this time last week, Pittsburgh already had a 2-0 lead. So a different game, and Coach Steffens alluded to the fact that it's probably going to be a battle here to generate chances against this Rochester side.
Yeah, Rochester's the type of team that they're not going to make it easy for you at any time of the game, and certainly at the start, and certainly they have enough experience out there with their coaching staff and their players that this first part, they're not going to give anything away, and they're going to try to make it difficult for us to get in any rhythm, and certainly they don't want the Riverhounds playing at the same tempo they did last week.
No, and I'm sure Bob Lilly probably saw the broadcast last week and saw what was going on and decided this week to come into here and make it a battle and make everything difficult for us.
Okai touches that one off the protective netting that keeps a lot of those balls from bouncing onto the train tracks and possibly down into the lawn. So throw in near midfield. Flicked on. And on that far sideline, it's Voleski looking to turn and go. Could not, but Rochester keeps it on the throw in.
Yeah, we only hit those into the river when there's a barge coming by.
We also saw a couple of trains move through just after the kickoff. That's another part of the atmosphere at Highmark Stadium. If you haven't been down here, you should really check it out. Great venue for soccer, great venue for anything, really, as we have some concerts coming up this summer that will be announced, but soccer-specific facility first and foremost. As here's Arena turning a bit in the phone booth, laying it back to Thompson.
And you can see when we go back, Rochester's very organized, pressing us into that end, coming together, keeping their lines very connected between the midfield forwards and defenders, and really moving to make it difficult to play out.
Diagonal ball up for Green, does well to hold it in. Off the nod of Kevin Kerr, looking back for Green, but it comes free to Maloto just outside the penalty arc. Maloto dispossessed. And here come the Rhinos. Voleski couldn't step by
Flags up.
Okioma, but there is a flag up at the midfield line. And
I think he came from offside position to get that one.
Yeah, initially I thought it might have been a foul against Okioma, but prior to that it was an offside play. So the Hounds catch a minor break there on the restart. And it's number 7, Stephen Okai, the native of Ghana. Trying to find Green, but the pass was a little soft, and it's taken away by Mendoza. Mendoza, good playmaking midfielder. Into the box. He gets it back and shoots, and it's blocked. I think it might have hit his own man.
And that was on frame, too, Matt. Thank goodness it was blocked.
Yeah, that was a good block because it was on its start for the Hounds at the moment. It's just they really haven't got their rhythm and cohesion together. Here he goes, nice layback. Just hit him on the shoulder.
Okima. Yeah, and that all started. I thought Greeny was up a little bit too high. He opened up a little bit too much and really didn't have much of an angle that we could reach him. And when we did try to play him, then it was Mendoza read it well and took off with it.
Ball betraying Lebo Maloto a bit in the early going here. He had a quiet game, surprisingly so, last week. And you wonder maybe some first game jitters here in Pittsburgh. And I know the Hounds looking for more out of him. He had such an eye-opening preseason.
Yeah, we were too. He's kind of still trying to find his rhythm right here at this time. You know, I haven't seen him on the ball very much. I'm sure Mark wants him to get a hold of the ball and start creating some things, but he's having a tough time, and Rochester making it difficult for him.
Mark Steffens, the first-year head coach here in Pittsburgh, Hall of Famer in the USL, assisted by Nico Cottage, last year's interim coach in the second wing. And it's Forbes shooting, and a little bit of a dipper. That missed high. Forbes, an indoor player, coming in from the Syracuse club. So just like the Hounds, who have Vinny Dantas and Max Touloute, a couple of players who stayed active on the indoor circuit during the wintertime, the Rochester Rhinos have one of their own. And he just missed there. So here is Okioma going along over the top of Moloto, though, and right into the waiting arms of Brandon Miller.
Yeah, Paul, that's like fourth time maybe.
I think it's the fifth time,
we've played directly to Brandon Miller, and that I don't know if we saw that 4 times last week. So I don't think we did. No, I think we have to settle it down a little bit, and and obviously Rochester is pressing us a little bit and making it difficult to come through the midfield, but just maybe a little.
In possession once again in the midfield area. There's Moloto, though, with a nice play to force the turnover. Moloto with those green boots on feeds it over to Vincent, who was tackled legally, and play continues on with Apostolopoulos going deep down the sideline, and it is taken by Thompson stepping out. Very aggressive and doing well again, as that was Forbes running free. Moloto looking to win possession. Comes down to Mendoza. I mentioned this Rochester team starting with a scoreless draw at the New York Red Bulls 2 out at Red Bull Arena on the big stage. And they were unfortunate to not be up 2-0 early, and we're seeing a similarly strong start here, although still no goals on the season for the Rhinos, as Okai was grabbed and held, and that'll be whistled down.
2 or 3 passes, and then looking long again. And Miro's really not got into the game yet too, Gino. He's the target man, but he's look, here's a long ball.
Green
it's
over the
easy
top
for the Rochester Rhinos to clear out.
Right now, the 2 center backs, Apostolopoulos and Van de Castle, are having their way and really clean up mostly anything that comes in the middle.
Dixon rolling one from the end line. Thompson has it again. And I think he's touching the ball. He's got the ball around his area a little too much for the Hounds' liking right now. 18th minute, though, still scoreless. So give Pittsburgh credit. They have not conceded despite several opportunities and half chances for the Rhinos.
Yeah, it's still early in the game, Matt. I think both teams are trying to figure each other out a little bit and find some spaces. We've tried that ball a number of times also, and Obasi's a tough one to beat back there from the left back.
A big man, Obasi, and he is essentially playing a 1v1 defensive stance against Kevin Kerr.
Yeah,
but
if we're going to play those balls, it has to be over him so Kevin can run. If he and Kevin are going up 1v1 in the air, at least.
Should be balls into his feet, though, Gino.
Yeah, either into his feet or if you're going to play these long balls in the corner, they have to be behind him.
Exactly, so he can get around him. And
but I think we were way more effective with Robbie and Kevin. See a lot of stuff with their feet last time, and both of them had the freedom to come into the middle to connect with Miro and combine a little bit with those guys. Minute of the match.
So the Rhinos looking to work their way out of their own defensive third, but it is chested down by Okai, seeking Kerr. Kerr flicks it high into the air and headed away by Apostolopoulos, and now laid back for Obasi, and the Rhinos systematically work it out of danger. To the midfield line, and Voleski looking for Dixon, but away from him. And the Hounds try to counter now. It is Green. Green once again lofting one up, this time for the big man Chabrillo, but he's called for the foul there, knocking down Apostolopoulos.
Even if you got that ball, you could have seen there was two players around him. He can't really do much with it, Matt. You know, he's either he needs some support where he can head it back to somebody and lay it off, or flick it on for somebody running by him. But he's up there with two of the Rhino defenders, one in front of him, one behind him. Very difficult to do anything with it.
Way too much knocked up to Miro or to Kevin not long, and certainly like to see them find Moloto and do some combining, find Kerr's feet, find Vincent's feet, and hit maybe some 1-2s and combine with Miro, and we can see then Moloto coming forward and getting some people off the ball with some numbers. We also haven't seen Sterling or Greeny go forward at all also.
I think they're a little bit nervous about that, Gina.
You're watching tonight's game on YouTube. All USL regular season and playoff games are available live, free, and in high definition on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/USL, United Soccer League. 24-team league this year, 12 teams in each conference. As another hopeful ball is headed into touch by Rochester's Apostolopoulos. That's where Kerr will stand firm and toss one to Danny Earls. Earls off to Okai, lifting one for Vincent. Nicely touches it down for Earls, and maybe the Hounds have something here. It's Earls from the left wing to Vincent, back near the midfield circle. Okai to Mike Green, who's played all over the field in his Riverhounds tenure. Green now a wing back. Had his pass deflected by Mike Garzi, the midfielder, and it's taken right away by Dixon. Dixon chipping it up the right wing, and it's Forbes, but he lost control. Arena making no mistake there, lifting it well out of play down onto the train track.
Letting us open up a little bit, and then they're waiting for us, and then they press right away in the midfield, force a turnover, and then right away they're going over behind us. Yeah. And it's a little bit shaky right now with our shape in the back as to where we are, because they're falling back, Paul. I think they're keeping that. Their back line's very well organized. They're waiting for that first pass. They're pouncing on, and then they're going forward with it.
Definitely, and I'm a little bit. I'm surprised. Mark should be getting onto Green's case, because every time he has the ball, he's trying to knock it into the penalty box, and there's just no chance for Miro to do anything with it. Gino's just got no support. He's got to. I think they need to calm it down and get some possession for a little while and knock the ball around. Don't be in such a rush to go forward. Just keep possession.
Hounds pressing a bit. That forced a frantic clearance by Brandon Miller off the head of Moloto, but Pittsburgh can't make anything of it in the midfield. They will get a throw in deep in their defensive third, will the Hounds, and it's Green to the foot of Thompson. Handles a bit to Okai and back to Thompson. A reminder, next week, 30 p.m. kickoff. The game will be streamed live here at Highmark Stadium at the Pub. Doors open at 7 p.m. Come on down and cheer on the Hounds. Food and drink specials. Once again, doors open at 7, 8:30 kickoff, as the Hounds will be in St. Louis to face one of the newer additions to USL, as Vincent has it taken away, but Flunder comes up, and he is stripped, and the card's going to come out. A yellow card issued, our first of this game for either side, and Flunder was running free and with an opportunity, but he could not get around. Yes, Pat McMahon, the veteran of this league. So McMahon in the books in the 24th minute.
I think he realized he was beat pretty good there, so he had to do, it was kind of a professional foul too.
Yeah, I mean, Sterling did a really good job of coming up and timing that well. And
nice to see.
And like you said, I think McMahon felt that was his best option.
Exactly. Take him out.
So it's the Hounds' first free kick this far up the field. A two-man wall. And it is Vincent.
Anthony Arena's in the box. Look for him. He might get on the end of something if he gets in there.
Sends it in low. McMahon heads it out beyond the end line, so we have our first corner kick of this game, and it goes to the Hounds. Vincent and Moloto head over to the flag. We'll find out who does the honors, or if they play it short.
Looks like they got a set play going here that we haven't seen.
Leave it for Moloto, tries to get by along the touch line, could not get it through, but another corner won. So Moloto and Vincent team up again, and Do the Hounds do something similar, or do they mix it up? Chabrillo, Kerr, I mentioned Arena and Okiyama in the box. Vincent bends it in toward the center of the 6-yard box. It's headed clear, but Chabrillo drops it back for Earls, and he missed with the right foot up into the Steel Army supporters section.
Yeah, really got underneath that ball, hit him on the outside of his right foot, and swirled away. He needed to get over it.
A really good initial serve from Robbie Vincent off the corner, and Rochester was able to get a piece of that, but a very dangerous in-swinger, and if he hits something like that, those will be very dangerous throughout the season.
And Chabrillo able to find that loose ball and set up Earls, so I think you'd have to call that Pittsburgh's best opportunity in the opening 25 or so. Whistle and a foul against, appears to be Arena, about 10 yards inside the sideline. And the referee Vito Testa wants the ball back here, and the Riverhounds do eventually give it to him. The assistant referees tonight, John Safar and Lucas Feathers. The fourth is Eric Blackburn. He'll let us know how much time is left in each half as far as stoppage is concerned.
It's a dangerous situation, Gino. You know, these guys have really got a lot of set plays and use these big guys at the back.
It's Mendoza sending it toward that back post, but the Hounds handle that one well, even though they were outnumbered 3-2. Right near the edge of the penalty area. One dropping right over the shoulder of Tony Walls, and Thompson can't quite find the handle. And now one of the Rhinos belted just outside the area by Okai, and this will lead to a dangerous free kick. That was Walls again. So Walls, the Wisconsin native, causing some difficulty for Pittsburgh just outside the 18-yard box.
Yeah, I think like Ryan Thompson was a definite foul on Okai, but it's they were saying that, you know, Thompson was interfered with, but 50-50 ball.
I thought that was a 50-50 ball. I didn't think it was a free kick against Thompson. I thought he came out and got his knee in the back of the player, which he do as a goalkeeper, but he should have probably come out and really punched that ball clear.
Yeah, try to catch that over the player with maybe just clear it. And
so here is Walls shooting, and he scores. Walls bending it over to the wall, and Rochester has its first goal of the 2015 season, and nothing Thompson could do as he bent that one nicely, a bit of topspin, and right over the top of the 5-man structure the Hounds had built. Could not prevent that one from sailing into the net, and in the 28th minute, it's 1-0 Rhinos.
Beautiful free kick.
It was a good free kick, but look at the wall. There was only one person who jumped to block it.
Yeah, Maloto jumped,
but turned his head on it.
He turned it.
But nobody really taking the challenge there and getting the bodies in the way, Gino, and taking the pain. But obviously that was really a well-taken ball as well.
But, you know, I think we have to admit that Rochester's had the better play right now. And what's this?
Trying to draw a call, I think, was Valesky, but he is not going to get one from Vito Testa. So the goal is Walls. He had one last year, defender/midfielder. And so he has matched his 2014 season total here in game number 2 for the visitors. Comes in the 28th minute, and for the first time this season, Pittsburgh trails. We see how the Hounds respond now. Here's Green. Ball on his right foot, trying to traipse down the sideline, couldn't do it, and the throw ends up going to Obisi and the Rhinos, so we forced to step back, though, just a bit.
Yeah, the Hounds have got to get it together a little bit, and I saw Mark out there talking to this fourth official, obviously not happy with the call from the referee, and should have got wanted a free kick on Ryan Thompson in the beginning, but I just think they've got to get it together, getting possession of the ball, giving it away a lot, and maybe something's going to come of this one. But
not a good one there from
Okai looking for Vincent.
Yeah, I mean, and here we go again behind Sterling.
It's Forbes going up against the pressure of Anthony Arena, who steps out to cover up. Forbes turning, bending one toward the back post, and it's a bit too far, and taken by Green, who volleys it out, gets a second crack at it as it comes right back at him. Obisi lifts it. Green bodied off the ball, but Okai comes up. will give a restart to the Hounds.
It just seemed we saw from the opening minutes Rochester had some energy. They were coming out really very well organized, making it difficult for us to play through, and so we got very impatient early. Yeah. And started dumping a lot of balls into the box, which were easy for Miller, the goalkeeper, to scoop up, or balls that were easily cleared away, or Tribrio had two central defenders on him. And I think we have to take advantage of our skill and our feet and get out of these aerial duels.
Yeah, you can see right there, we don't win very much at the back there at all.
Completely different game this week, and the Hounds running into a wall, metaphorically, that the Rhinos have constructed, and perhaps time for adjustments at the half, but still 15 minutes to go in this opening period of play. Walls' free kick goal has the Rhinos up here at Highmark Stadium. You can become a fan of the USL on Facebook, facebook.com, and search USL. Find exclusive league news and interactive content. And speaking of social media, you can follow the USL at USL. Become a league insider, join club conversations, and have a chance at exclusive giveaways. That's Facebook and Twitter, where you can find the Riverhounds League, the USL. Here's Flunder. Quick dump off on the throw for Earls. Trying to switch it up to Green, who waits for it. Taps it down, flicks it through to Kerr. Now Maloto going back for Kerr. Ball had a lot of spin on it, so Kerr had to settle it. And here is Maloto. About 35 yards out, drops it back. So the Hounds building some possession now. A little different from what they've been doing.
Yeah, a little bit better this time from the Hounds. And that's a tough one for Sterling from Danny Earls, but the right idea there. I mean, that was a better switch. They had a couple, 2 or 3 passes in a row. Danny looked to switch it over. That's a little bit more higher percentage ball than just having one pass, picking your head up and trying to whack it into the corner. And I think that we need to get in that kind of rhythm, Paul, to get back into this match.
No doubt. I mean, you could see there we made about 5 or 6 combination passes. Then the final one was way too long, but now we're starting to chase a little bit and put some pressure on them, which I think we should be doing anyway. But
this was the approach that worked last week to force some turnovers, but now it's Forbes taking the long ball again. Forbes open, edge of the area, sends it along the turf, and it's picked up there by Thompson, who slides out.
That's at least the 4th time that we've found Forbes down behind Sterling. Fun to stay connected with Anthony Arena, or Anthony's going to have to pull out and pick that up a little bit sooner and read that ball because that's becoming very dangerous, and we cannot continue to give them that.
That's
look.
A nice switch.
Here's Vincent to Maloto. Maloto trying to settle, has it poked away by Obisi, and actually it'll go over to the Rhinos. Obasi, pardon me, who made the play. On its way out. So tough break there as the Hounds try to win it back. Green.
Handball.
Played it right into the body of Valesky, and Valesky will be whistled for that handball, it appears. And that's the first time we've seen Bob Lilly, the head coach of the Rhinos, really come out toward the field and challenge something. He's had to have liked what he's seen in the opening 34 minutes. But it's Thompson with some token pressure put on him. Hoisted in the direction of the midfield area. Taken there by Mendoza, falling down, played a dangerous ball toward Valesky. That's where Okioma fends him off and wins the free kick. So it's Okai. Straight ball to Maloto, and the Hounds working it near the sideline, and a miscommunication between Okai and Green. The ball rolls out.
But again, you saw where Rochester had us really where they wanted. They had us pretty well matched up and
penned in there.
Yeah, they really, I mean, with Mendoza and I'm thinking Valesky and Dixon, the 2 forwards, making it very difficult on our defenders. Anytime the ball's over their head, they're pressuring very hard. And right there, they had us matched up very good, making it very difficult for us to work it out. We have to play quicker if we're going to do that. And by, we're going to have to, again, really look to play some quick stuff and then look to switch the point of attack.
Mendoza on through Dixon to McMahon. on the far wing. Forbes to McMahon. Hounds put the pressure on. Shabrilo forces a loose ball, but it's taken there by McMahon again. Now into the box. It's Dixon turning, looking near the end line, and he tried to play it toward the middle, and just getting a foot in there was Mike Green to save what could have been a second strike for Rochester. Corner kick, Rhinos.
Yeah, definitely there. Good job Green was there, because that was a great opportunity for Rochester to go 2 up. And Rob Vincent, haven't seen Kerr involved as much. Gino Moloto
outswinger, header over the crossbar by Apostolopoulos.
Well, they need to be more involved, but I'm a little concerned too of our back four. Seeing a lot of gaps. Yep. There's players consistently running through those gaps, and they have to communicate better what they want. Do they want Akai and Danny Earls tracking those players coming forward, like as we're seeing Forbes consistently going forward, Mendoza is consistently going forward, and yeah, when we open up with Sterling and Greeny, there's some space, and they're exploiting it right now.
Yep.
Chabrilo chasing Obasi, but the Rhinos once
there it
again.
Is again. Look at the gap there.
Testing the Hounds' back line. This time Flunder able to gather it, but the ball too far for Vincent. And here we go again with Forbes challenging Flunder. Flunder this time wins the battle, but not the war, as he has to simply play it out under some serious pressure.
Yeah, Rochester playing very similar to the way we did last week, Gino, making it very difficult for Harrisburg like we did. They're doing the same thing that we were doing to that team against us this week.
Obasi to the middle, and it's Walls, the goal scorer in this game. Bit of an errant ball. McMahon tries to bail him out, pokes it by Vincent nicely. McMahon. And now across toward the penalty area. That's off the, appeared to be the chest of Waleski, as he made a diagonal run through, try to catch up to that one. But could not corral. Into the 38th minute. Green's throw rejected, but he gets a second crack. And he finds an open Anthony Arena. Quickly steps away.
Need somebody to show for him. There's nobody showing for him, so he has to go and use his back line again. We go forward, then we come back. Now we'll go back again.
And they're pressing up with us. So
exactly,
every time we go back, then they're pressing.
And a foul against Arena on Waleski.
And again, that little pressure is putting us under. They're right there on Arena. He has to foul.
Yep.
And a yellow card to Arena. Second one issued to a Hound this season. Danny Earls was booked.
Because the ball's coming back. Exactly.
Last
very
week.
Predictable in that situation.
And Arena had to grab it. Appeared to look like he was flat-footed on that play over on the sideline, with Waleski threatening to run right by him. So it's Mendoza bending one toward the 6-yard box, and Arena gets ahead on it after a bounce. Now Vincent charging through, nicely completes the clearance. It is Moloto to Kerr, dancing around and laying it off on the flank, but Moloto can't catch up, and McMahon has it. McMahon up for Dixon, trying to get by Arena, or pardon me, Vincent, rather. Vincent still back there, helping out in his defensive third of the field.
Yeah, Robbie did well to track back there, because Sterling was up towards midfield looking for an outlet, and Robbie Vincent came all the way back to track the Forbes back for him. So they're trying to deal with that, but Rochester's going to look for it
and make it difficult
until we stop it.
Arena, like a center fielder in baseball, has a beat on that one. Chests it down, finds some room to squeeze it up the sideline. Good play there to Kerr. Okai, Moloto play a two-man game for a bit, but
another gap.
Wall steps right through and takes it away. Walls to Dixon, couldn't find anyone, and it comes loose to Ryan Thompson. Allowed 2 goals last week, although one was on a dubious penalty kick. That seemed to be the consensus after the game. But he had a clean sheet for Jamaica against Cuba earlier this week. Back in Pittsburgh, 3rd game in 8 days. And now it's Kerr. Couldn't step around the large frame of Obasi. Resistance. not quite getting the service he got last weekend. As Nico Kotic, the Hounds assistant, had a few words, it appeared, for Mike Green, maybe a few of his teammates as well. Final 5 minutes and change of this first half. Rhinos 1, Hounds no score, as it's Earls. Off to Vincent, and it's Flunder on the overlap. To Vincent again, and
Great
switching it
ball
up
from
to
Robert
Green.
Vincent.
Accurate one, right on the money to the Hounds number 8. It's Kerr to Green, looking to go back to Kerr, a little too far for him, and lifted up into the air. This will go out into touch, so the Hounds get the throw. Some promising work on this near sideline. Okai to Kerr, just inside the area. Kerr stepping out to collect it, assesses options. He's pressured by a couple of defenders, and it ended up being Mendoza flicking it out. Here's Green running onto it. Green held, and play continues on the advantage. As our Gene Klein heads down to the field to talk to Mark Steffens at halftime. We'll catch up with him in just a couple of moments. As play continues on, McMahon under some duress from Chabrillo, but made a poised play and got it away. Now it's Valesky challenging Okioma, and they get tangled up at the edge of the 8.
And Duluth coming out wide in the midfield.
Like I mentioned, we did see all three.
Stephen Okai.
Yes, Okai is.
Kevin Kerr shift a little bit into the middle, and Maloto is going to move back to a Kai spot with Danny Earls, Matt. That's what it appears to be now. So we'll see Kevin Kerr pushing a little bit forward with Toulouse out wide on the left side where Kerr was prior to this. And actually they flip-flop Robbie Vincent, didn't they, Paul?
Yeah, they did. It's interesting. It's
yellow card issued. Hold on a second, guys. To Christian Volesky. I'm not sure exactly why. Perhaps he rolled it away from the keeper on the goal kick awarding, but
yeah,
that appeared to be it.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. I think he was kicking it away, and referee jumped on that. But I think you're going to definitely got two more extra guy. Kerr's pushing up front with Vinny, and
Bob Willie's not too happy about that. We can hear them a little bit from here.
I thought I picked up someone else talking in our ear. I knew it wasn't the production truck. So, yes, that's the voice of Bob Lilly you may have heard coming across our microphone down on the sideline. As here is Thompson handling for the Hounds. He rolls it out, then Maloto tries to build it up from the right side. The Riverhounds got a couple of wins against Rochester last season. One here, one up at Solon Stadium in western New York. That win in Rochester on June the 7th was their first victory of the season after 10 tries. And they also won here 2-0 on July the 4th. That was their first home win of the season last year. Very slow start for the Hounds in 2014. They're 1-0, but trailing right now early in the second half in game number 2.
You can see right now, I think we're trying to get some possession, and it looks like we are pushing up a lot better, Gino, right away.
Yeah, I mean, they've tried to address the problems that we saw in the first half. They were giving us a lot of difficulty here with Forbes on Sterling Flunder, and they've addressed that with. And then I think the other thing is we saw Stephen Akai, who I thought had a really strong match against Harrisburg, just very ineffective and not going to lot, not really possessing the way probably Mark Steffens wanted, and so he's going to drop Maloto back to give a little bit more composure, I think, in that midfield with Danny Earls, Paul, and allow Kerr to do some work underneath Vinty Dantas.
Yeah, really.
Willie Hunt has the ball right now. He played last week in a similar substitution role, although a bit later in the game. Hunt last season with the Tampa Bay Rowdies of the North American Soccer League, as the Hounds will have possession just about 10 yards beyond the midfield line. And there is Maloto back a little bit further, as Gene just talked about, tapping it along. Ball played out by the Hounds and inadvertently throw in Rochester.
Yeah, I'd like to see Robbie Vincent get involved as well a little bit more now. We need him to get into the game. Maloto's got the ball, and a lot more combinations going on right at the beginning. What a great
quick play
ball.
up to Toulouse. He chips it into the goal. Max Toulouse into the game, into the net. It's 1-1 here on the south side. Max Salute shoots to throw and finds the back of the net, and quick combination plays. We were just talking about it, and there it was, building up out of the midfield, and the Rhinos couldn't recover. The keeper, Miller, came out, but nothing he could do as Salute finishes.
Well, right away, the substitutions have some immediate effect here. So we see Dantas to Earls, great little double pass to Duluth, making a terrific diagonal run from the left side, Paul, on the other side of the center back.
Yeah, right into that open space, Gino, that we weren't. Actually, Rochester did exactly the same thing in the first half.
Well, they gave us all kinds of difficulty with that in the first half.
And that was great to see that, because
who quickly one-timed it, but perfect timing of the run with Max Duluth.
And outside on the right too, Vincent and Moloto, little combination, created that, knocked it inside, and then that ball through.
Duluth just coming off the indoor season, as I said, PDL player in recent years, 24 years old. The native of Haiti, also played for the Reading United. And coming into the Hounds lineup in the second half, and what a perfect time to get a goal, a big one, to equalize very early on, 48th minute to be exact, in the second half.
Yeah, that's a big one. I think really needed that, Gino, just to spark everybody and get them into the flow of the game. And really, as you can see, it builds a little bit of confidence.
No, that's you can't ask for a better start to the second half, especially if the first half was not really that impressive, and came out flying right away to get a goal and to be back even with this game. Is very, very important. Otherwise, Rochester could have made it a very long night for us.
Yeah, just sitting back and making it difficult. But
and we'll see if that energizes the Steel Army. And they are up and cheering, as one would imagine. Crowd energized by that early second half strike. Danny Earls on the assist. Also Moloto involved in that quick counterattack. But here are the Rhinos now, trying to make it happen. It's Forbes toward the middle of the field, looking for Dixon, and it's knocked away from him. And Vincent, he's belted hard foul just inside the sideline. And I believe the whistle has sounded. I don't think I heard anything, though.
Holy smokes.
Play continues on into the box, and Dixon finishes.
This is ridiculous.
Is that a goal? It is.
Oh,
did not stop the play. The referee, Vito Testa, allowing play to continue after Vincent was annihilated on the sideline, and Dixon is going to get credit for this goal.
And the crowd booing the referee.
I mean,
that is a very bad decision by.
I mean, obviously we have to continue playing, but that was the referee went all the way over to the break it up. His back was turned towards the play, and then turned and let it continue.
That's a tough one to take for everyone here, and especially the boys on the field. The men in black tonight, the Hounds, are down 2-1 suddenly, 51st minute, and it's Dixon getting the goal. He had 3 last year. He's got 1 now in 2015. Did not catch the man who set that up coming down the left side.
I think we were all watching the referee and the combination, the two battling over there, who just got drilled. And thought the referee went over to give a free kick, actually, and never gave the call.
Yeah, I mean, when he ran over there, it was hard. Like Matt, you said, there had to be a whistle. We thought there was a whistle. That's an arm up and everything, and there's no foul. Arm extended, and look, he's back as to the play. Here comes another.
Look out here, it's Valesky trying to muscle by, and Okioma flicks it away, thankfully for Pittsburgh, and Earls rips it out, waist-height ball, and got his left foot to it to allow the Hounds to reset. But the man who put that forearm into Rob Vincent's chest was Mike Garzi, the midfielder. Played last year for the Rhinos as well. But, yeah, you're right, guys. I haven't seen a referee run over to a situation and then not blow the whistle.
Well,
it just seems strange.
His back was to the play. He turned around eventually, but the play was going on. His back was to the play, and he turned over. So right away, as Anthony Arena it just threw down Valesky. I think it's going to be a free kick.
Exactly.
And now their bodies flying all over the place,
Potential for this one to get ugly now.
Absolutely. The referee has to start calling something because he's certain to let that go.
So here's Dixon, the goal scorer.
With no help from his assistant referee on that side, by the way.
No, it's all.
I mean, if he's missing that flag has to go up from the far side of assistant referee.
Yeah,
That's a good point there. That is his quadrant of the field, the head referee's quadrant, running over into that area, and did not make the call. And just like that, Max Salute's tying goal is erased, and the Hounds find themselves down a goal once again. I guess the good news is they still have 37 minutes or so with which to work.
Well, I think, this after one like that, it's going to be really important for them to regain their composure and start trying to play the creative, sensible soccer that we've seen
from the beginning.
And really just start playing the combination, because they certainly came out that way to start the second half.
Yeah.
And they can't get caught up in all the physical matches and try for retaliations. That we need to settle down, get our composure.
Play,
A lot of time.
Who stepped up, and we are seeing Moloto with a few more touches on the ball in his drop back position in the midfield. So perhaps onto something here are the Hounds with that one.
Yeah, I think it's a good move there,
thing.
Matt. I mean, they just have him drop a little bit deeper so he can see a little bit of the ball and maybe
get some more open space as well.
Yeah, and have the attack go through him a little more.
Dantas to Earls to Kerr, outer edge, and no, offside is the call from the assistant referee all the way over on the far side of the field. But we did see, again, quick one-touch passes by the Hounds and causing the Rhinos to scramble a bit in their own end.
Yeah, like Gino just said, I think the biggest thing now is they've got to calm down, settle down again, don't get into a slugfest with Rochester, and just try and get back to that rhythm that they did right from the get-go and at the kickoff.
Here's Moloto, juggling, handling well, lays it off to Willie Hunt.
We certainly need Moloto around the ball, and I think we need him to be more than a possession player.
Yeah, Look out, this one's cleared almost.
It's going to be important. It's going to be important for him to start making some plays, which we know he's quite capable of doing that. And I think if we stay behind, we're going to see him. He can push forward a little bit more. Danny Earls can clean up behind him.
Yeah.
But a dispossession there, which is not good.
Valesky got around Arena, now trying to get past Okiyama, having some trouble there, and the Hounds help out, and play continues on. So physical play allowed to go, at least so far in this second half, and we do get a foul. This one's against Rochester, though. And so both sides a bit frustrated with the way things are going, but I think the Hounds have a little bit more of a beef than the Rhinos do at this point, considering the no call led directly to a shocking goal that has made it 2-1. On the battle is Kennardo Forbes, the Jamaican, couldn't control it and comes loose to Hunt, who will throw it in. Moloto, open space Earls. Far wing Mike Green. Assessing his options. Green has Earls joining him, and he gives it to him. Green trying to make something out of a deflected ball, could not. And it's off Green's foot and out.
Greeny got that ball, and there was, the left back was maybe about 10 yards off. And wouldn't you really like to see Greeny starting to take some runs at some at those player situations, as opposed to he just stop the play and then start looking backwards, And
didn't look any confidence, does he, Gino? He looks like he's looking to give the ball off as soon as he can, instead of, maybe thinking of those creative runs now and again.
Okiyama.
Again, some space.
And there is Green. What do we do with it this time?
Pass.
Good feed to Kerr. Under some duress, lost control. And the Rhinos in those striped jerseys, gold and green, with a 2-1 advantage. Here's a pass that's taken away by Mike Green, stepping back. And Moloto, near wing side, tries for Dantas. A little too far for him. McMahon takes it for Rochester. Exchange here in the second half has it 2-1 Rochester.
You see Robbie Vincent starting to come a little bit more central, trying to get a little bit more involved.
Look at Talute go. Talute shooting, and didn't quite get all of it, but showing some tremendous quickness to get free.
Yeah, he took that ball really well and got inside, beat two players. kind of got over the ball a little bit too much on the shot, but you've got to see some more of that from him, hopefully, and get some shots on goal.
Another train comes by as the Hounds try to turn it in the direction of that passing freight. Here's Dantas.
Yeah, we got to get on the train here and really start picking up some pace.
Green has it again.
As we see, Robbie again, rather than holding the touchline, Paul is trying to get in those little pockets and behind the midfield, in front of the midfield, which forces them to step up on him.
Definitely an adjustment from last week, rather, and different opponent, different style of play. So they're moving Vincent and Kerr a bit off the sidelines, or at least they had in this start of the second half.
There he goes. That's what we need.
There's Vincent chipping on the overlap to Green. Green in the corner, knocked away, and does not win possession, to his befuddlement. Just near the corner flag.
I think it went off him as well, so I don't know what he was hoping for there, but...
Trying to sell it, I suppose. And that gives us an opportunity with the display on the video board here at Highmark Stadium. Our very own Gene Klein and Paul Child hosting Soccer Talk every Wednesday on 970 ESPN. Make sure to tune in.
Looking forward to it. We had two great shows thus far, Matt, and with the first one being at Piper's Pub, which was a great time, having Tuffy Schellenberger and Ryan Thompson, Mark Steffens on the show. Last week we had the president, Richard Nightingale, and want to continue and have some more exciting guests throughout the year.
That's 6 o'clock every Wednesday with Gene and Paul on 970 ESPN. Here's Green seeking out Dantas, but the feed went awry. Goal kick, Rochester.
Yeah, we've got to get that momentum shift again back, Gino, and it seems to be calming down a little bit more. We've had a little bit more possession.
I really like the changes, Paul.
I do too. I think he's done a great job there. With that can upset you so quickly of what happened there.
It really
Just,
can.
Really bad officiating, and that's what the only thing I can say. It's
It happens.
Exactly.
It's part of the game, and everybody has to deal with it. And as you said, I think it's starting to settle down, and they'll get refocused. And now, again, we just have to pick up the tempo and the speed of play a little bit.
Yeah, and close them down, make it difficult for Rochester, and maybe create some opportunities where they make a mistake and we can jump on it.
Okioma closed out on Voleski near the sideline. Just 2 shots on goal for the Hounds. One of them went in from Max Touloute. In fact, Touloute has both of the Hounds' shots on target in this game since joining the action for the second 45 minutes. Little chip play by Rochester does not connect.
Yeah, goal kick for the Hounds, so here we go again.
62nd minute. The Hounds will hit the road next week. We told you about the watch party starting at 7 p.m. next Saturday. Pittsburgh at St. Louis FC, one of the newer teams, one of the newest teams, in fact, just coming into existence this year in the USL. And then 2 more home games, the final 2 weekends of April. Hope to see you down here, Louisville City on the 19th. Look out, here comes Dixon. Stepping up, big save by Thompson, but it's still loose and then chipped up and over by Forbes. What an opportunity. And to be frank, he just blew it right over the top.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ryan Thompson's down here a little bit. He tried to come off his line. Oh, he headed that ball.
He headed the ball.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that would have been a handball because he was out of the of the area. And
I was looking for a handball, but he headed it down in point-blank range, and that's why he's down a little bit.
So, yeah, guessing that's why he's hurting badly. And the trainer, Alan Harper, is out for the Hounds, testing Thompson's vision at the moment, but
Thompson off his line very, very, very quickly, but we did have a defender back, and I think
too soon. I don't know why he really came out that far, Gino. I don't know if we can see another replay of that, but you'll see he's way out of there, and there was plenty of defenders in front of him, so there was really no reason to take that chance and get out that far, because if this player had got on the end of the ball and flicked it over his head.
Well, you see Arena running there, and obviously Ryan called him off because Arena went behind to cover the goal. So he made the call early, and that's what you can ask for at a goalkeeper. If you're going to go, you go.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the Rhinos unable to expand their lead Thompson appears to be okay, gets a hand from the Steel Army and the rest of the fans here on the near side in the seating area. So Thompson stays in. He's an aggressive keeper. That's what Anthony Arena was talking about earlier this week.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Said you have to be ready, and communication, of course, very key in that situation. And Arena did hear him call it out, so he was dropping back to try to stop it.
Yeah, because there was no hesitation from Arena on the play. So, I mean, Ryan certainly called him off. And you make that decision, you go as a goalkeeper.
And the defender goes back, drops back behind you to cover for you. So he did that.
Miller.
If you're going to be aggressive, you got to be sure.
Miller lifts this one up into the atmosphere. The Rochester keeper clicking onto the foot of Valesky, and now it's the near side. The play continues on. McMahon to Garzi. Garzi ran over Moloto, and the foul is called against Garzi. He was the one who dropped the elbow into Rob Vincent that directly led to the Rochester goal. That time Vincent doesn't get the call again, and it's Obasi running with the ball.
There's another arm.
He
no call.
Runs right over Vincent. Play continues as it's Dixon, ball on his foot. Lofting ball toward the near edge of the penalty area. Taken by Forbes, trying to get an edge and cross it, and he did, but it was off a Hound's head onto Dantas's boot, and Vincent rips it out.
Ford has been very, very quick and very dangerous there, and given. Is this on?
Valesky, no, that is offside. And he's got his hands in the air.
As we see, looks like Bob Lilly's going to make his first substitution.
Colin Rolfe will come into the game.
And I wonder if it is for Forbes, because coming off the indoor season, he's done a lot of running.
It would be for Valesky, it looks like, actually. So 9 for 8 for Rochester. Rolfe into the game. 26 appearances last year, including 10 in this situation as a sub. Had a couple of goals, couple of assists for the Rhinos.
Well, I think we'll see Colin Rolfe very, very similar to Valesky. He's going to have a lot of energy. He's a big, strong guy. We'll hold up the ball. We'll bring some players into the game. And it's going to make it difficult for Anthony Arena.
Here's Vincent
and the other
to
backs for the Hounds.
Moloto to the sideline. Hunt not quite enough on that feed, and McMahon broke it up, and here is Rolfe. Rolfe looking for Dixon off the back of his heel. That helps the Hounds gain it, but they give it right back to Mendoza. Mendoza to the 18, shooting high. Mendoza with some space.
He had a vision, I think, and really got underneath that ball. Didn't get that. I don't think it would have been a problem for the keeper if it had been on target. But giving up a chance again, Rochester's still putting the pressure on and making it very, very difficult for the Hounds to get back into this game again. Yeah,
I mean, obviously being behind a goal, we see Mike Green and Lee Hunt both pushing up much higher, which allows Toulouse and Kerr and Vincent to push up. But it also creates a big gap, and that's where Mendoza went in that gap between Okayama and
here is Forbes looking.
There's another huge gap, like
for Rolfe.
Big gap between Okayama and Greeny, and the last time Mendoza went through that. So they're going to have to be aware of that. We can't give up a third here, Paul.
No. There's still plenty of time left in this game, and we just got to get it.
There's a hold from the referee.
Arena.
And you can see
on the battle.
Oh, jeez.
Forbes to Dixon. Oh, it was just over his head, but he was open, running free for a brief second, but the Rhinos can't find him. Here's Tony Walls off the head and chin, it appeared, of Forbes. Couldn't command it. Willie Hunt will for Pittsburgh. Here's Moloto to Lutz. Runs into McMahon, turns the ball over. It's Forbes clicking up to Dixon, the goal scorer in the second half for Rochester. He had it taken away. Okiyama again. Last line of defense before you get to goalkeeper Ryan Thompson. And offside as the Rhinos were slow to get back into an onside position.
Danny Earls are getting booked, it looks like.
And yes, Earls into the books for a yellow card. Mendoza writhing about in pain on the artificial surface.
Yeah, he's going to.
Oh,
Earls
yeah.
catches him on the back of his leg. It appeared on that replay. 69th minute booking. And that is the Hounds' second card. Arena got one in the first. 2 yellows to each side in this one. A more physical contest than we saw last week against Harrisburg, that's for sure.
Yeah, Rochester coming out strong too, and now the Hounds, they're drawing the Hounds into getting aggressive and,
Long shot skips in on Thompson.
Chips and stuff like that, kicking, drawing the players in. So hopefully they'll calm down again. Like we say, they're getting drawn into here where they don't need to be.
That was Forbes who had that free kick, by the way. Trying to beat Thompson inside the post. Willie Hunt, with those quick feet, steps away from the sideline nicely. To Maloto.
And I'll tell you, there's a lot of stuff off the balls. They called Garzi finally
exactly
on one. And
well, the referee's got to keep a grip of this.
He totally does, because both teams are very, very frustrated, and understandably.
Oh, yeah.
So Arena switches it up. Okiyama to Green. Green's first touch in a few minutes. He hooks up with Maloto, who was going to be pressured, and so he got rid of it quickly, and it just hops in on the keeper Miller, who, with Kerr charging up to him, decides to hang on to it. Miller last week at the New York Red Bulls 2 made a penalty kick save to put up a clean sheet, made 3 stops in all in that 0-0 draw out in Harrison, New Jersey. Watch out as it's Rolfe trying to get by. Arena could not do it. Nice recovery from the Hounds defender, the native of Washington State. And here is Talute, the goal scorer in this second half. Poked it right by one defender, but couldn't get past the second as it skipped too far away from him. And Brandon Miller rips it up and out of his defensive third.
Well, I think the Hounds have let it slip away a little bit the last 10 minutes. It's going to be important for them to get it back, get some rhythm, and it doesn't start with balls like that. They really have to get some good act, do it convincingly throughout and consistently. Where Rochester has stuck to their plan, stayed very organized, pressed us, particularly in the midfield, made it difficult for us to get through.
Well, final 20 minutes. We'll see if the Hounds have at least an equalizer in them. Another one, I should say, as they already had tied this game once. Very early, 3rd minute of the second half, in fact. Here's Dantas displaying some quickness. Ball stayed in somehow in that corner. And now it's off the chest of Rolfe, the
there goes
lone substitute in this game. Yes, it was Mendoza running free down the left flank, but
well done
Dixon,
by Okiyama there to really stop that attack, because they had some guys flying forward.
Dixon had the ball and perhaps had some designs of finding his open teammate Mendoza. Dixon flicks it to Forbes, going up against Willie Hunt. Now he steps to the middle, dropped it back. A shot that's off the foot of Arena and harmlessly bounces in on Thompson, who squeezes it, and Javelin throws it out to Rob Vincent. Vincent, 2 goals and 2 assists last week. He and Kevin Kerr, 6 points, tied for the USL scoring lead at the moment. They need some of that offensive magic, do the Hounds right now, as it's knocked away from Willie Hunt, who had stepped up, by Forbes again.
Well done by Forbes.
Yeah, really, it's
strong game for number 21 for Rochester.
the referee played on. That's a back call.
Play continues on as Mike Garzi this time sees the business end of a very hard tackle. And there's one from behind. And just a garden variety foul handed out, but Danny Earls took a big-time knock there.
Referee's consistent anyway, Gino. So.
Consistently inconsistent. I was about to say that
as Maloto tries deep, looking for Green, and it's off the head of Obasi and out for the corner kick. 74th minute.
So many times with these fouls, you're missing the first one, and then the retaliation comes in the second and third, and he's catching that one.
Yeah,
where if we catch the first one, we don't have to deal with the other stuff. So
exactly.
Looks like Maloto's going to come over to take the corner. I'd like to see Danny Earls whip one in here from an in-swinger.
Danny's kind of been missing this second half a little bit, Gino. Got involved the first with that goal, and then we haven't seen him since, and Robbie Vincent as well.
So what will Maloto try? Has his hands over his head. His green runs in too. Maloto, outswinger, looking for Willie Hunt. Gets it free and couldn't get the shot off as it was blocked, and the Hounds wanted a call in the box. They're not going to get it.
Nope, not from...
Hunt up in the attack. That's the first we've seen from him this season in the scoring area, and he nearly got to that one for the tying goal.
Great run by Hunt, great serve by Maloto.
So Maloto may have a future taking corners for the Hounds this season. As Green somewhat awkwardly hands it off to Thompson, who has to volley it out. That was a little more difficult.
Well, it was, he went to head the ball, then he played it with his feet, and then it was a pass back, and so Thompson had to all of a sudden kick it out.
Thompson handled that awkward situation quite well, actually.
He did. He dealt with that really well.
He knew he couldn't pick it up. He'd have been in trouble, so he just really quickly take a touch and got it out of there.
I don't know if Greeny thought that it wasn't going to get back to him off the head or what, Paul.
I don't know. It just seemed it spun funny, and he went to head it, and the ball didn't come up high enough, I think, and then he had to realize he touched it back to him. But
here's Hunt seeking out Dantas, who showed some fancy footwork a moment ago on the near side. Whistle on a call against Rochester. As Maloto came soaring in.
Yeah, hopefully we can take some advantage of these free kicks.
Looks like Christian Silva's going to come on for Rochester.
Silva, who has played in this league before, yes, he does replace Mike Garzi. In the midfield, Silva played last year in Sweden, but in the USL prior to that. Second substitution for Bob Lilly's squad as Rob Vincent prepares to take this free kick. So it's Vincent, the man from Liverpool, bends it in. Good-looking ball.
Great delivery from Robbie Vincent.
Yeah, nobody could get on the end of it. That's a shame because that was really a good ball in.
So Rochester escapes what could have been a dangerous situation for them. Tony Walls was the guy who got his forehead to it to keep it away from his keeper, Brandon Miller. Willie Hunt with a throw-in to the foot of Maloto. And Hunt double teamed there, and there's another foul called. Starting to pile up against Rochester.
Yeah, a lot of chipping us still.
Yeah.
Gino, chipping and whacking.
Serena to Maloto, steps forward, pokes it free to Vincent. Vincent cutting to the middle, and that will be another foul call as he eluded the defending, and it will actually be a yellow card issued
to Silva.
Silva
just got on. Yeah.
Fresh into the game. Silva gets the yellow in the 77th.
But nice little touch from Maloto and Robbie Vincent, making the inside runs, a diagonal run inside where we saw Duluth get his goal. And we have two dangerous free kick takers here with Robbie and Vincent and Danny Earls.
Yeah, we need something like Rochester did in the first half.
They'll both line up for it. Looks like it will be Vincent, though. Vincent going for goal, and too much behind that one. No cross. He was trying to bury it straight away from about 25, 30 yards out. He connected from there during the run of play late in last Saturday's game, a 5-2 win over Harrisburg. This time could not find the range.
Goalkeeper taking as much time as possible. Collects the ball on the right side and then dribbles it to the left side to take the kick, wasting a couple of minutes.
Ball hops through, and it's lifted further by Mendoza. Mendoza seemingly all over the ball throughout this game. He was a strong player for Orlando City, you two were saying last year. You noticed him, and he's been noticeable again.
Yes.
Maloto up ahead, down the sideline, but did not.
He's back there.
Trying to defend their half now, so they're going to try to kill off his last 10, 15 minutes, Paul.
Yep, for sure.
So the task is laid out in front of the Hounds. They'll have to create a goal against one of the better defending teams in the USL from last year, and a team that has allowed just one in getting close to 170 minutes now of action this year. They did not concede against the Red Bulls 2 last week either.
Yeah, we'll see them, right away, the back four staying very compact, very well. They're well connected, as is their midfield. And they're going to try to collect and, catch us on the counter and see if they can, if they can get the third one. And
Earls couldn't get it through. Vincent resets. Okioma. Kerr. Green trying to get free, and he's going to be called by the assistant referee, actually, for the foul just inside the 18-yard line. And, yes, the head referee confirms the call, so Green could not legally get free.
So Greeny, up front now, and Mark Steffens has gone to 3 in the back. So he's going to keep it with Arena, with Willie Hunt, with Okiyama. It looks like Moloto and Danny Earls are going to stay in the middle. Vincent.
Mendoza out, and Marcos Ugarte into action for Rochester. And I'd like to mention that was Grant Van de Castile who was defending against Green there that got his jersey pulled, and that led to the foul call. Final 10 from Highmark. Can the Hounds come back and at least forge a draw, as here comes Thompson out, and once again he gets run into as that was Rolf charging through and trying to fend him off, I believe was Arena, and Thompson is not getting up easily this time.
Rolf knocked Arena into the keeper there.
That's exactly it.
And the referee just goes up and chats to him instead of giving him a yellow card for doing that. That's
very dangerous
obvious.
Play.
Yeah.
With Thompson in the air, already committed to the leap. And yes, he is yelling something at the referee Testa, Thompson is, as he's down, and that surface does not feel good when you come down on your hip and your side like he did there.
Yeah, exactly.
Boy, he has taken some punishment tonight.
Yeah. He really has.
That's the trainer, Alan Harper, again out, athletic trainer.
And that's a difficult one, but I think Ryan will find a way to continue.
Yeah, he's a strong boy. He won't have a problem with that. I don't think he'll just run it off now. He looked like he's going to take the kick. And
the 30-year-old from Kingston, Jamaica, last year with the Tampa Bay Rowdies, where he teamed up with Willie Hunt, who is on the field now as well.
And Willie Hunt being substituted for.
Easy. Going
15
in
easy, yeah.
Kenny Eze comes into the contest, his first action this season.
Brings back a memory, Gina.
But this is Eze, not easy.
Okay.
The Jersey Express was his previous team. He was a Rutgers product and a pick of Toronto FC in the 2014 MLS Super Draft. Kenny Eze. And he hails from New Jersey. May have mentioned that. As here's Thompson. Driving it downfield. Onto the foot of Toulouse, the only goal scorer tonight for the Hounds. Lost control and cleared away by de Castile.
You know what's interesting right now is really Dantes has really dropped back into the center midfield.
Yeah, I noticed that with Green and
letting Eze and Green up high. Kerr. I mean, we're really kind of in a
no man's land.
3-4-3. I don't. Earls and Moloto are still the two central midfielders, but I'd certainly like to see Dantes up high on their center backs.
Yeah, really, because he's a strong lad, and we saw him last week. He was getting on the end of some balls, but he hasn't had the service this week.
Look at that battle over there between Rolf and Okioma, and the call goes in the Hounds' favor.
He's probably feeling a little bit frustrated. He wants to find some time on the ball, and certainly you want to see him check in for those spots, Paul. But I don't like to see him staying there. Hopefully we can find him.
Earls lost control, and the Rhinos on the counter. It's Forbes, the elusive one on the right wing in this game. Off for Dixon, tried to flick it, but A bit hopeful on that play, and it's taken away by Pittsburgh. 84th minute now.
Damn.
Look out here, wide open Dixon, and he is onside.
Great
but
tackle.
Arena comes in. Anthony Arena.
I think Okiyama left him onside. He was a little bit off.
I'd like to see that
He was a little bit
again,
back. If you can't see it from that shot, but great recovery from Anthony Arena.
And that, we know he does that, and he's very good at it too. And he saved him a sure goal there, but. It looked wide open, like you say, Gino, but somebody must have left him on the far side.
Well, they were, I think,
field.
because we're 3 in the back now, and Okiyama was over. Arena was his center back. Okiyama was playing the right back, and so that whole left side is open, and they found him, and it's going to be a trouble spot.
Dixon is up on his feet. Arena, very clean tackle, but it will be a corner kick.
Looks like another substitution for Rochester too.
This one is Tyler Rudy. Yes, the recent assignment from the New England Revolution. That's the affiliate for Rochester this year in the MLS.
Number 29, Tyler Rudy. In for number 3, Dixon.
He'll take the place of Dixon, who was down and banged up on that play. Rudy just this week assigned to Rochester. Here comes the short corner, and it is off the foot of Van de Castile. I think he wanted another corner, but he's not going to win that argument. And down to the final 5, at least of regulation time. Rhinos still up by that single goal, that controversial goal scored by Dixon early in the second half, as it's Kerr dropping it on back. Thompson tries the near side again. It's away from Moloto, but Eze was on it for his first touch. Moloto went up with a and now Arena knocks it off the body of, yes, a deflection off of Forbes and a throw-in for the Hounds.
Yeah, we've got to get this ball back up into Rochester's half of the field, Gino, in his last 4 minutes of regular time.
We're really starting to press with Green and with Eze and Kevin Kerr, but nothing really constructive so far. And I don't really see Dantes being used very effectively. He's just sort of in the midfield. We're having a difficult time finding him.
Moloto to Eze, can't turn and get past Van de Castile. Here's Forbes in the back track. Kerr stepping off the sideline. Look at Kevin Kerr go. Switches it up. Good feed for Toulouse, and he can't get by. And that is once again Onua Obasi. He's been a stalwart in this game on that side of the field. Toulouse couldn't poke it around him. Green nodding it forward. Away from Kevin Kerr. Ugarte with the ball at his foot. Ugarte steps around the airborne Toulouse, and he has some more time to hang on to it. And the Rhinos will be, of course, content to possess and not necessarily press forward. They give it away here, though, to Ryan Thompson, who tells his teammates to press upfield.
And you can see again what we talked about 10 minutes ago, that they're just going to hold at about the 35-yard line.
Yep, and just make it.
They're going to step up maybe to about 10 yards from the center circle, but that is as far as they are. And Rolf is the only one really chasing.
Okiyama trying for Moloto. He has it, knocks it down beautifully, dropped it back. Green. Vincent to the middle and Earls. Vincent now, again, right-footed play to Okiyama stepping up.
Switch of play.
Out wide here. It is Toulouse. Chips it toward the free Kene Eze, but it's headed away from him and knocked to the sideline by Tyler Rudy into the game. But Toulouse stepped up to poke it up ahead, and Kerr running on, but tenaciously he can't get to that ball. That's Obasi right near the sideline. He simply dumps it out, throw in Pittsburgh. 88th minute now. In fact, getting close to the 89th.
Hounds pushing everybody forward now. Arena is the last defender. Now he goes forward. And we see really Robbie Vincent, the last defender.
Yeah.
Toulouse dropping back a little bit, pushing everybody up on this throw-in.
No illusions of defending right now. It's all about the attack for Pittsburgh. They need one to knot it up. The throw comes in, and it's punch clear, two-fisted by Brandon Miller. It'll just be another throw-in.
Another long throw. They're looking for this flick on, I think, if they can catch this keeper coming out.
It hops loose and right in on Miller, and no Riverhound around him, so he'll take his time after snatching it. Getting close to that 90th minute of play. Miller.
But that's a wild card.
Pops it up. Moloto. To Earls. Seeking out Moloto near the corner flag, but it'll roll out. Deep throw for Rochester in its defensive third. Gene Klein is headed down to the field. He'll have a player guest after this one. And we're hoping still some drama to come, as it's Moloto. Couldn't take it. Arena. Anthony Arena, the central defender, wins the free kick. That'll help.
Hopefully we can get a player of the game here with a goal, you know.
Right now it's just Max Toulouse on the board for the Hounds. They had 5 last week, all-time high here at Highmark Stadium in the third season. Offensively, it's been much more difficult, as we suspected, coming into this evening. Vincent curling it in, headed away by the outstretched Apostolopoulos. On the far wing, and
out of bounds.
Losing control out to the Hounds. Earls quickly hands it off, and he'll get it back on the throw. 4 minutes of stoppage. Earls sending it toward the spot, but it's knocked away by McMahon. Now Moloto driving it in. It comes free. They want a handle, and they're not going to get it. The Hounds are. They thought that the ball was handled, and judging by the reaction of many, I think it was. We'll have to check out the replay, but tough to tell from this angle.
Yeah, definitely. We couldn't see.
And that would have been a penalty kick if called in that area. Keneze trying to hop by. Cannot get around, and it does roll out. Here's a replay as Moloto threw it across, and it was off the head of Obasi and then down. It looked like it glanced off his wrist. And that's a judgment call for the officials.
Yeah, he kind of like expected to head it, and the ball dropped a little bit lower. He got his knee up, and it went off his knee, off his wrist. But I don't know whether the referee was in a good position to even see that, to be honest with you.
That would be a difficult one to call unless you were absolutely sure of what occurred there. So here's Forbes. The Rhinos suddenly up all the way into the Pittsburgh end of the field in the corner, in fact. They run to the corner flag, do the Rhinos, but it's quickly dispossessed. And Earls trying up toward the midfield area. It's headed away, and Tyler Rudy fresh into the game. Lost control, it's Vinny Dantas, the Brazilian native, off to the South African Moloto. Moloto switching far side. Vincent.
Switching it again.
Vincent coming back near this way, and McMahon laying out to head it, but not clear. Moloto to the middle. Hounds battle for it. It is poked back out, but Danny Earls has it. Looking for Kerr, but it's a little short of him. And cleared out of bounds by Apostolopoulos. From the touchline, the Hounds throw it in.
And another one into the box.
Vincent for Dantas. It's off the head of McMahon and out to the near side. Throw in Pittsburgh. 4 minutes of stoppage. Remember, we're probably at least halfway through that as it's Toulouse going to the back post and just off the head of perhaps, was that Vincent charging in?
I think he was trying to get on the end of it, Matt, and he got deflected off the player. I don't know who the player was in front. Was it Green?
There were 2 Hounds right there, and it was off of Vincent, but he just couldn't direct it on target.
No.
But a perfect ball for the most part.
Yeah, great opportunity there.
Perhaps one more offensive thrust for the Hounds, and that's going to be it tonight.
Definitely, and Rochester
we'll see what they can do.
Keeping control of it.
Offside, Rochester. And the Hounds have to hustle here.
Yeah. Last chance, big one into the box, I would think. Oh, he's taking it.
They'll go short, and it's Arena. Arena, no one home, just outside the penalty area. Earls to Toulouse. And he's run over from behind, foul called. Here's a chance. And the ball should probably be a couple of yards up from the spot where Earls has it.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't take a quick one there. We've got to get the bodies up in there. Thompson, I don't know.
Including Thompson, yes, he does come up. So this could be it.
Definitely.
Bushman puts the left foot into it, toward the post, headed on target by Dantas, but it's stopped by Brandon Miller right into his breadbasket.
Yeah, that was a shame. There was nobody coming in there that could get on the end of that one that he laid back. But Thompson was trying to get in there, actually, the goalkeeper. But the keeper got it and smothered it. And looks like this will probably be the last kick of the game, I would think.
Thompson for Vincent. Up to Eze. Referee allowing play to continue on, and he lets that play go. Thought the Hounds had won one last free kick. They did not, and that's it.
That's the end of the game, yeah. And some crazy calls and some not calls. But yeah, the Hounds battled off. Second half came out really strong, Matt, and kind of got deflated right away. Like 10 minutes or 15 minutes into the